Thank you, boys and girls, for coming to your seats so quickly and quietly as we start our math portion of the day. Today we are going to take our unit on fractions to the next level. Okay? Our learning goal for today is comparing two fractions with different numerators and different denominators using our symbols of greater than, less than, and equal to. Okay? Now, I just want to show you some of the things that we've learned so far, and then we're going to get right in, okay? A few things we've learned so far with fractions are, if the denominators are same, what do we compare? The numerators. Thank you, good job. We've also compared numerators and denominators, right?
Yes.
The bigger the number, the smaller the pieces. That's why we have 2/6 is greater than 2/8. We've done number line benchmarks using like a 1/2 inch or a whole or a 1/4 inch. Okay, we have changed one denominator to make it the same as another because for comparing fractions we must have the same denominator. Thank you, Debbie, you're right. So what we're focusing on today is comparing fractions with different numerators and different denominators. Thank you, Aubrey, right? The one thing we need to remember and think about in this strategy is finding the least common multiple. Raise your hand if you remember that we've learned about least common multiples. Great, thank you, boys and girls, okay? Remember too, when we get to use this in our lesson today, that you have all of this information about your least common multiples in your math journal already. Use it as a tool. That's why we do that with our math journals. I'm also going to leave this up, okay? All right, everybody feel good so far? Okay, fantastic. So what I want to do right now, you have your fraction tiles on your table. Awesome, great listening. I'm going to show a little video. At some point, I'm going to pause it and ask you to show me the fractions that are on the board. And then you're going to be answering the greater than, less than, or equal to. All right, does everybody understand?
Yes.
Anyone have a question? Okay, super. So we'll start our video, and then remember, when I pause it, we're gonna be building some of the fractions. Okay? Awesome. So here we go.
Isabella's father is building a model dinosaur with spare pieces of wood that measure 1/4 of an inch and 5/8 of an inch.
What do I do with it?
What fractions are you
Sorry,
using
guys.
in this situation?
It's on.
The fractions are 1/4 and 5/8.
Here we go.
Which pieces are longer, the 1/4 inch pieces or the...
Okay, so right now what I'd like you to do, boys and girls, is go ahead and build these fractions. Use your fraction tiles. What are you going to be using for this denominator? Fourths, good. And Demi, what denominator are you looking for this fraction?
8.
Eighths, very good. So go ahead and build 1/4 and build 5/8.
Done.
Okay, now that a whole class has given me a thumbs up that you're ready to go, I need a volunteer to tell me which is greater than and which is less than. Demi,
5/8 is greater.
it is greater. Do you know why? Can you tell me why?
Yes, because it's longer. It has more pieces.
Okay, well, not just because it has more pieces, because sometimes, you know, the larger the number, the smaller the pieces, but look at that numerator, okay? So you can visually see with the tiles that 1/4 is less than 5/8. Aubrey.
Did you ever know, our teacher last year taught us that if you like put a circle around like the edge of it, it means like you're eating the number.
Yeah, and the younger grades do that. But now that we're in 4th grade, we're moving on to actually using manipulatives, and that's what those fraction tiles are.
5/8 inch pieces.
So let's see what they have to say.
Some fractions can be compared with benchmark fractions.
This is what we were talking about
Benchmark
before,
fractions
right?
are fractions you can easily use for making a mental image. A benchmark 1/2 fraction strip is easy to picture in your mind. These fraction bar images show one whole strip and 1/2 of a strip. Let's compare 1/4 and 5/8.
And visually you can see
use
it.
fraction strips to compare both fractions to 1/2. Compare 1/4 to 1/2. Use 1/4
That's
strip
using
to
this
show
strategy.
1/4. Is 1/4 greater or less than 1/2?
And we already solved it.
The fraction
Right?
strips show that 1/4 is less than 1/2. Now compare 5/8 to 1/2. Use 5 1/8 strips to show 5/8. Is
Boys and girls, now that we've watched that video, we're gonna go ahead and do some on together on the whiteboard. Okay. So I'm gonna write down pairs of fractions, okay? And I wanna see you comparing and manipulating and using those tiles to solve. You may use your dry erase markers on your desk or on your whiteboard to solve if you like. Maybe right now the desk would be better because we have our tiles right there. So let's see, let's do 2/4 and 4/5. Now go ahead and build with your tiles. Okay? So how many fourths do we need?
2.
Good, Demi. All right, now let's see, how many fifths do we need?
4.
Terrific. Go ahead. Make sure that they're lined up perfectly edge to edge. Okay? Because we don't want to get thrown off. Aubrey, do you want to come up and write greater than, less than, or equal to for us? Thank you. Okay. Tell me what it says. Can you read that to me?
24 is
Silly.
2/4 is less than 4/5.
And 4/5. Can you tell me why? How do you know that?
Because with our
You can come back over.
with our little
Tiles.
tiles, 2/4 are smaller than 4/5.
All right, you can visually see that. Thank you, honey. You may have a seat. Now let me ask this question to all of you. So let's say we're not in school and we don't have these fraction tiles. We're out in the real world, we have a job, or we're cooking a recipe. How are we going to figure out which one's greater? Aubrey.
It's like, you know how you count multiplication, you do circles and everything. We can just write 2 of the 4th circles and we can write 5 of the 4th and see which one's bigger or smaller.
But if you're like, if you're out in the world, if you're at the grocery store, right? If you're a chef and you're at a restaurant, how are we going to figure it out? Go ahead, Debbie.
You can look at the
Denominator.
and see which one's greater, and then you can, if they're not the same, you can multiply to get it to that, the closest to, right?
Okay, I think you're way ahead of me here. Maybe even end of 4th grade, 5th grade, because we're adding. Well, not adding. Look at me, I'm even up. We are comparing. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. We need to find least common multiple. Okay, I'll review it really quickly. Okay, so the first thing we do, we have 2 fractions we're comparing. We have 2/5, we have 1/3. Now a common multiple means you're counting by that number. So we have 5 in the denominator. You with me, Aubrey?
Yes.
5 in the denominator. So we start with multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Let's just stop there and see where we get with, what is our denominator here, Demi?
3.
3. So we're going to count by 3s. That's called multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12,
15.
Do we have a common multiple here?
Yes.
Our common multiple is 15. So you go, okay, Mrs. Taylor, so now what do? I'm going to show you, okay? So we take our original fraction, 2/5, okay? And we need to get here to 15. Same with over here, we have 1/3. But we need to get to 15 so both of our denominators are the same. Very good. Okay. So let's count. How many multiples did it take with the 5 to get to 15? 1, 2, 3. So I know 5 times 3 equals
15.
15. Now let's count over here. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I also know that 3 times 5 equals 15. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we wrote our 3 here and our 5 here. Now remember, what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Exactly. So we have to multiply our numerator by 3 here, because that's what we did to the bottom. And our numerator by 5 here, because that's what we multiplied. So that's kind of a little refresher course, because you're going to need that if we're out in the real world. Okay?
Yeah.
Check, check.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. What we're going to be doing, boys and girls, right now is we are going to do some centers. Okay? You may keep your tiles out. All right? I'm going to model for you exactly what we're doing in the centers. Okay? Okay, so the center over here where Demi is sitting will be center 1. We are using dice to create our fractions. So here's our dice. Aubrey, you can come over too if you want, so you can see we're going to switch centers, okay? So each person is going to get 2 dice. Okay? You're going to roll both dice. Okay. Okay, so this is your numerator, this is your denominator. You're going to write the fraction here. Okay? Roll again.
5 and 1.
So 1/5, 1/5. You're going to write your second fraction here. In the middle, each person, there's enough sheets in the center that each person to do their own. But you can talk, you can use all your strategies. You're going to put the symbol in the middle, greater than, less than, or equal to. Is there any questions about our dicey domino center? Yes, Demi.
So you put your first fraction over here.
Right, fraction number 1,
And then the second over here.
fraction number 2. And
And
then
then just
compare
compare it in the
them.
middle.
You can use your tiles.
Okay.
If you encounter something like, ooh, I need to remember, I may need to use that. Use that strategy. Get out your journals. Use what tools you have. Okay? Yes, honey.
Can we write it on the little board?
Actually, you're going to write it on the sheets, and we're going to use the boards in a few minutes.
Okay.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's walk over to center number 1. Debbie, will you put that on that table for me? Okay. Our second center is called fraction dominoes. It's very similar to the dice, except you don't roll it. So you're going to pick out a tile, a domino. What fraction would that be?
1/6.
Good. You're gonna pick out another one.
5, 6.
What number here?
4 tenths.
No, not 10. You have to count them up, count them up.
12.
12, it's 4 12. So
4 12.
once again, it's the same structure on the sheet. Your first fraction here, your second fraction here. And if it's greater than, less than, or equal to. Please remember to put your name on the bottom. Are there any questions?
No.
Okay. So, Demi, why don't you start at the domino one?
Okay.
And then, Aubrey, you can start at the dicey one. Okay, so you have your back here. Okay. You can sit wherever you want. No, not right now. Here's a sharper pencil for you, honey. Okay. So go ahead and start rolling and comparing. All right. I'm just gonna walk around, boys and girls. If anybody gets stuck, you need any help. Okay. And don't forget your name on the bottom because I will be looking at them to see if we're getting the concept. Okay. I like, Aubrey, that you wrote down your first and then your second. And how do you think, what strategy you're going to use here? You think you'll use your tiles?
I'm going to use which one's greater? The L, C.
Okay, so you're going to find the least common denominator. You can write on this paper, okay? All right. And Demi, how are you doing? Yes, sweetie, you have a question?
So these two are the same, so...
Here's the thing. It would make your denominator smaller. So it would be this.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a great question. Good job. What number do you have here?
6.
5 6. It's so hard to say. 6. Okay.
I'm actually going to use this.
Sure. Sure, that's fine. But you may come to something, you make a roll, and you may find that you need to use that least common multiple. That's why I went over it, okay? Okay, so if you want, here's a worksheet. You can use this. I don't think these have 7s, okay? So you can even make the M, if that's easier for you, or you can just write down your multiples of 4 and your multiples of 7. And whatever's easier for you. Okay? Because this is going to help us more out in the real world. You could be an engineer, you could be a builder. Okay?
The same thing.
Really? That's funny, huh? Simplify if you can. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I also have some challenge cards, like you find that, oh, I did this, I'm done. I'll show you where the challenge cards are and you can do them. Okay? You can just write it down. Okay, good job. And if you need to, talk it out with your table mates, right? The people who are at the center with you. Let's work together. Okay? If you see someone that might need a little extra help, right? We can explain it to them. Okay. Boys and girls, can I have your attention? Give me 5. Thank you so much. Okay, now that our center time is over, okay, I want to go over with you our assessment, which we'll be having tomorrow after we practice some more, okay? This is our assessment is gonna look like. It's very straightforward. We're comparing 2 fractions just like we are right now, okay? Now, I wanna do a little bit of independent practice without talking to your classmates, right, or your centers. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna write down on the board 2 fractions. You are gonna solve greater than or less than, but don't let anybody see it. Sound good?
Yes.
All right.
And we write it on here.
Yes, please, but hide it, turn it over, because you don't want anybody to see it. And then I'll ask for the big reveal. Does everyone understand? Yes, you have a question, Abby? Oh,
Yeah. Yes. The marker to it.
huh?
That's the marker to it. Or it fell.
No, that is it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I am going to give you, I'll put a circle, that's what we'll put on comparison. You could use whatever strategy you want. You can use your tiles, you could use your least common multiple. Take a look at your tiles if you need to. Okay. All right, I'll pour these. Yeah, and then do comparison. Use what you know. Use what you have in front of you. Yes, honey.
It's like half of it on my thing. Does it still count as like this is like here? That is like half of it.
Well, unfortunately, the tiles aren't perfect.
Okay.
So you can write them greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, everybody, show me your boards. Is it greater than, less than, or equal to? All right, Demi has 4/6 less than 6/8. Do you agree or disagree, Aubrey? You agree. Great job, you guys. Let's try another. So we have 2/4 and we're comparing it to 7/12. Okay, show me your boards. All right, so Aubrey, what did you have?
I have 2/4 is less than 7.
Do you agree?
Yes.
All right, we're getting it. Good job. Okay. Boys and girls, if I can have you put your whiteboards down and come join me on the carpet. We're just going to review everything that we've done today. You guys have worked really hard. I'm sure you want to stretch your legs. You've been sitting a really long time. So come on and join me on the carpet, and we're just going to review everything that we went over to. Okay. So we've expanded our knowledge today about fractions, haven't we? Yeah. We started way back here with our strategies and gone step by step through each one of these. We're finally on using our least common multiples to compare our fractions and using manipulatives, right? Using our fraction tiles to determine greater than, less than, or equal to, right? We practiced with some examples first, so we get familiar with the tiles. Then we went on to some centers. You know, I hope that they were fun. We were rolling dice, we were doing dominoes and comparing back and forth to help just practice our skill, just like anything else, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then at the very end, I got an idea of our understanding individually. You were working as groups with your centers, and by holding up your board was telling me how you are all doing. And I have to say, boys and girls, I'm very impressed with your answers so far. Okay, so get ready for tomorrow because we'll go over what we learned today really quickly and then move into maybe some more difficult, challenging fractions. Well, you guys are so great with this, right? Let's grow our mind. Let's grow our brain. All right? Yes. Okay, boys and girls, thank you so much. We're going to do a brain break now. Okay? And relax.